Today we're going to learn how to make a GIF that also includes motion on the text that's tracked to the video. So it's going to be pretty straightforward. You should have After Effects and Photoshop, so if you have the Creative Suite, you're going to be perfect. So let's get right into it. So the first thing you're going to want to have is a high quality rip of a DVD that you want to use, or something from the internet like YouTube, like I have pulled up right now, which is just the Joker trailer. We're going to find a spot that we want in it, and then we're going to grab it and bring it into After Effects. So the first step is to find the video. Once you have the video, you're going to take the URL and copy it. And then you're going to want to paste it into something that downloads videos from YouTube. So you can either Google that, or you can use a program that's free, and that is called 4K Video Downloader. And you can see that this is paid and free. Paying unlocks higher resolutions. Once we have it pulled up, we're going to paste link. Make sure the highest resolution is selected, and then you're going to want to choose where you're saving it. I'm just saving it into a GIF folder that I have. Click download. Perfect. Now that it's downloaded, we're going to open up After Effects. All right, now that we have After Effects open, we're going to double click in the project pane, bring in the video, double click on the video, and now we're going to find the spot that we want to pull in, which is right about here for me. I'm going to hit the end point marker.
All I have are negative thoughts.
Perfect. Now we're just gonna trim this up right there and then hit the end point. And now we can pull it into our project. And now we have a comp that has this on it. So now we're gonna hit S for scale, because there's these little black bars that I want to get rid of. And then hitting up on the up arrow key, take it to about 105. And now I want to add the text. So I'm gonna hit the text tool. And now selecting that, we're gonna go onto a line, make sure it's in the center, and then bring it down a little bit. All right, so this is the straightforward version of this.
All I have are negative thoughts.
So you could call this done. We're not gonna call it done. We're gonna do a few more things first. The first thing I wanna do is, while we're on the text, I'm gonna add a drop shadow to it. Now, for a scene like this, it's not really crucial because it's on a dark background, and so the white is obviously going to pop off. It's going to be great. However, if you're doing using a video source that is something that has a little bit more colors to it, or has something that's closer to the whites of the text, you can change it to like a yellow, or you can add a drop shadow, or both. Make sure the opacity is at 100%. We're going to set the distance to 10, just to give it a little oomph. You can see it looks a little bit better. I mean, it's one of those things that it's kind of just up to personal taste on where you take the exact settings. The next step we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the source layer selected, and then we're going to add a brightness and contrast. Because we're saving it for the web, because the internet likes to be fun about that, we're going to just bump it up a little bit. And then the last step we're going to do is sharpness. There, it looks good. So now we have it pretty much prepped for the next step, and that is to add motion to the text. So the first step we want to do is right click, new, null object. And now we're going to make sure that we have the source layer selected. We're going to go to our tracker and track motion. And now we want to find a spot that has good contrast. So I'm going to use this little area of his face. I think that looks good. And then we're going to make sure that we edit target and that it's set to null, which is null 1. Okay, and then track forward. Perfect. And then apply, and then we want to do X and Y, so okay. And now you can see they created all these keyframes, and that is where our motion is going to be. So now it is only tracked to the null object. Now we want to connect it to the text layer. So we take the pick whip right here, this little fun swirly, and connect it to null 1. And now
All I have are negative thoughts. All I have.
perfect. All right, next step, go to composition, add to render queue. In output module, we're going to change the format to PNG sequence. I'm going to change this, it's personal preference, but for me, I like to just always start at 0 for these. So I'm going to not use the comp frame number and just have it start at 0. Okay, so now you can see this naming convention here is going to use the source file name, and then it has these little hash ticks. Those hash ticks are going to go up sequentially for each frame created. So we just want to make sure that we're in the folder we want to use. Mine's in GIF, save, and then hit render. All right, now that that's finished, we're going to go to the last step, which is opening up Photoshop and saving it for the web. Now that we have Photoshop open, we're going to import the image sequence. So click on the first frame, which is 0000. Make sure you have image sequence selected and open. And we set our frame rate at 23976, so we're going to set it at 23976. Okay. And here we are. We have it inside with all the motion. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to image size. We're going to set this to 500. This number is completely up to you. 500 I've found works best for most sharing sites. So okay. Now we have it ready to go. Export, save for web, make sure GIF is selected. And we want to make sure this is set to selective, diffusion, transparency, 256, 100%, and 0, and then 0 on lossy as well. Make sure your looping is set for forever. I'm going to click save. We're going to do example, save, and now we can preview it in the web. And there you go. Perfect playback with the motion tracking.